What's up, guys? Good morning. 7:30 in the morning. Hope everybody slept good last night. I hope more and more of you are actually headed back to jiu-jitsu. Seems to be getting more and more back to normal. I wouldn't say normal, but basically a lot more gyms are opening up. I know New York right now is still struggling. Here in Florida, it's kind of like hit or miss. Anyway, good morning. So today we're going to be doing a mobility class. I'm going to be working a little bit on shoulders, more hips than shoulders, with a little bit of like dynamic movement. So the first thing that we're going to go through is the breath. The breath is actually important. So I want you to understand some conceptual ideas that you need to understand. So there's something called positional breathing. What positional breathing is your lungs can expand. Basically, your lungs can actually get bigger and be able to take in more oxygen. The problem is with jiu-jitsu is when you're like, say, on a bike or whatever it may be, you have the maximal amount of expression of actual breathing. So the key with positional breathing, which we're going to do at the very end of the class, is that you try to mimic the positions that you do in jiu-jitsu while you practice breathing with no actual external stress. You're creating the stress. What I mean by external stress is somebody in side control trying to smash you. Or you're in inverted guard and someone is trying to pass your guard, your knees pinch to the side of your head. The idea is that the more you are crunched or the more you are compressed, the less space your lungs have to be able to kind of actually take in enough oxygen. So what you have to do is practice breathing in those positions so that your body will adjust and understand how it actually needs to breathe in order for you not to get stressed, obviously, and for you not to feel suffocated. So that's why every class will start with a little bit of breathing on the front end and maximal expansive breathing on the back end. So at the very front, we practice a little bit of the in, a little bit of isometric hold, and a little bit of the out. So if you've never done it before, I'm just going to go through it real quick. Okay, so what we're doing is we're basically working the diaphragm out. So it goes up and down. It's very simple. Up and down, up and down. What happens is in everyday life, even though we are athletic and we are doing cardio conditioning, or the other 23 or 22 hours of the day, we're basically very sedentary, depending on what you do for a living. And over the amount of years, your body's gotten lazy. It doesn't understand how to expansively breathe. When you're a kid, everybody knows how to do it. It's just like sitting in a squat. Everybody, when they were born as a kid, understand that they can do a squat. You ever see a little baby kind of sit down and pick things up? It's easy for them. As you get older, you somehow messed up and you lost a little bit of that ability. The same thing goes with breathing. Because it's like unconscious, if you don't make a conscious effort to actually expand the maximally expansion that you possibly can, it's just going to atrophy just like any other muscle. Okay, so the diaphragm, what you're going to do is you're going to push down the diaphragm. If you've ever done that before, it's almost like kind of sticking your belly out. Now, you're not really sticking your belly out. What you're doing is you're not getting fat, but what you're doing is you're pushing down the diaphragm, and if you're literally kind of pushing your intestines out, your guts out this way. And what that does, it creates pressure. From there, then you're going to take a breath in. Now, there's two types of breath. There's diaphragmatic breath, which is just, so it's really short. It's only right here. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand and increase the amount of space. So what you want to do is then assist that expansion by opening up your chest, open up the rib cage, open up the space in order for those lungs to actually take in more oxygen. So the breath is going to be like this when you're going in. It's going to be down. It's going to be diaphragm down, You're going to do that's going to be the first part. And then the next part is as you breathe in, you're going to get even more air with your chest. So there's a short version, which is this, diaphragm down. And then if I assist with my chest, I get even more air. And then the next thing you're going to do is just relax out. What we're trying to do is create what's called a little bit of potential energy. By pushing the diaphragm down, expanding the breath, we have a lot of potential energy that we're going to create, and then we're just gonna ride that by relaxing. So give you one run. So it's diaphragm down and relax. Diaphragm down. So in, reflexive out. In, reflexive out. In, reflexive out. Make sense? The next step we're going to do is we're going to do a hold. So you're going to take the breath in, hold. So we're going to do a few repetitions of in for reflexive out, in, reflexive out, in, reflexive out. Then we're going to do hold. Then we're going to hold. After that, we're going to repeat it one more time. And then we're going to practice exhaling out, maximal exhale out. So we're only going to do a little bit of it. So maximal exhale is the opposite of what we're doing. So what we're doing is as you breathe out, you're going to reflexive out, and then you're going to assist and push. And as you want to get that last little bit of air out, you're going to pull your belly button in towards your spine or down towards your anus. So it's going to look like this. Breath in, reflexive out, and then you keep blowing out, pulling that belly button in, and then reflexive out. Okay? So let's give it a try. If you've never done this before, it takes a little practice, just like anything. Just keep going. Don't get caught up in the process. There's going to be a lot of thought process. You're going to be like, oh, am I doing it at the right thing? Don't worry about it. Just go through it. I'm going to try to keep as rhythmic as I can. Just understand that I'm also speaking. So just think you want to try to create a circle. In, reflexive out. In, reflexive out. In, reflexive out. In, reflexive out. Maximal expansion out. In, reflexive out. And just keep going until I tell you to stop. And we'll take it from there. So here we go. So sit in whatever comfortable position you want. You can sit on your knees like me. You can sit Indian style. Whatever works best for you. I actually like sitting on my knees. I get to work a little bit on my dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, a little bit of flexibility on my ankles when I'm sitting in this position. Okay? Here we go. So again, don't stop, just keep going. And in. Reflexive out. In. Few more. Three more. Last one, and in, and hold. Hold it here. Now you're gonna have to resist the urge to breathe out. Your body just finished taking in a bunch of oxygen. It's fine. You have a ton of oxygen in your lungs. You just gotta allow your body to pull the oxygen out of your lungs and be processed with your body. So it's got plenty of oxygen. Practicing that hold is doing an isometric contraction with your diaphragm to maximize your lung capacity to pull in oxygen out of your lungs and into your blood, which is what we're trying to do. And reflexive out. And again, in. Reflexive out. Again, in. And reflexive out. And again, in. Two more. The last one. You're going to hold it out. In. And hold it out. Pull the belly button in, pull the belly button in, down towards your spine, and hold. Now reflexive in, and again, in, out. Pull the belly button in, and reflexive out. And again, out. Pull the belly button in, and then reflexive in. And then out. One more. Reflexive in, and out. Take a second. Feel those happy drugs. Basically, you got a bunch of oxygen in your bloodstream, which feels good. If you've ever done like Wim Hof training, that's what Wim Hof is. It practices a lot on the in, like super saturating your blood with oxygen, which always feels good. These are good to practice. It helps with calming your nerves as well. If you compete, practicing breathing will like super saturate your blood with oxygen and kind of calm your nerves down a little bit, especially when you're not used to competing. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're training. Okay, so the first thing we're going to work on is your hips. So we're going to start in the 90-90 position. If you've never been in the 90-90 position, what you're doing is you're basically putting the front leg in a 90 degree position, and you're putting the back leg in a 90 degree position. The idea behind this, depending on your skill level, you can use a yoga block to support yourself. The idea is to kind of keep your posture strong. So you're pushing your tailbone out towards the ceiling and kind of actively trying to bring or press this front knee down, okay? From there, I don't need the yoga block. What you're gonna do is you're gonna hip hinge forward. So don't think fold, think hip hinge. So pretend there's like somebody pulling your chest forward, and you're practicing hovering this hand. If I were to put this crease on my hip, forward. Now normally you want to practice and you're going to sit into this passive position because you're in a passive stretch here for 2 minutes. But for this class, we're not going to do 2 minutes. I'm just assuming that you've done this position before from previous classes that I've had. And all you're going to do is you're going to keep that knee down and find your end range. Your end range is where it's like a comfortable discomfort. In other words, you don't want it to be like at 100% where you have to kind of get out of it. You want to be at about a 70% where, it hurts so good is the best way that I can kind of explain it. From this position, just hold. Just sit there for a couple seconds, find that end range, kind of. This is where you explore your body, see what feels good. If you feel a little bit of discomfort, try to disperse it. From there, we're going to do pails and rails on the back leg. Remember, again, pails is pushing down, rails is pushing up, or pulling up, excuse me. The idea is that always keeping irradiating your body so that we're not doing this. This stays stationary so that we can lift up the leg. Okay? Now, keep in mind, if you've never done this before or you're still new to this, the range of motion doesn't matter. There's going to be times, especially on my left leg, because I don't have very good internal rotation on my opposite leg, that I'm going to be actively trying to get this foot up, but I'm going to get literally like 1 inch off the ground. Sometimes not at all, depending on how fatigued I am. So don't get caught up on the actual range of motion. The idea is about the intention. Okay, here we go. Start pushing down, increasing the amount of effort that you push into the ground. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. And hold that 40%. Should be feeling all this outside stuff, a little bit of your hamstrings, sometimes a little bit in your inner thigh. Just depends on where you're weak. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now irradiate everything and try to lift that foot up. If you can't, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. I'm getting, and you get all this stuff right here on the front side of your hip. And we work this a lot because of hold retaining guard. 2, 1. Let it down. So what we're doing is we're strength training the real intricate muscles that we use for everyday movement. But if you're a jiu-jitsu player, what we're trying to do is strength train them so that we can get better at jiu-jitsu. That's basically what we're doing. We're going to get better at jiu-jitsu by working on these intricate muscles. Try to hip hinge a little bit forward. If you can flatten out, great. And then we're going to repeat. Down on that back leg. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Try to do maximal effort now. Try to rotate through the ground. So this doesn't move and you're trying to push that foot into the ground for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now rails, irradiate the body. Don't let those hips move. Don't let that knee move. Try to get that foot up. And man, I'm feeling like a real, almost like a cramp right here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it down. Whew. I also got a little bit of a cramp on the front leg too. Beautiful. In tabletop, we're going to do what's the hip car. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other videos on YouTube, I have a whole series on C.A.R.s. C.A.R.s is just a fancy word for saying maximal circles to some aspect. It stands for controlled articular rotation. The S is just plural. And what we're trying to do is maximize the workspace within the joint. But it's not really a workout. What it is you're giving information to your brain so that your brain understands that it has additional workspace. So what we're doing is we created the workspace with what we just did, the pails and the rails. Now we're going to save the work. Basically, we're telling the brain, hey, we have now more workspace. You can utilize it so that the next time that you do it, you get just a little bit better at it, just 1% better and 1% better. And then it just like anything else, it compounds. In 6, 7 months now, you're going to be able to get lasso. You're going to be able to invert a whole lot easier because now your brain understands and it trusts you that it's able to kind of get into those positions. Okay? Okay, here we go. So hip flexion. You're going to raise the leg out to abduction. Then you're going to internally rotate. Internally rotate as you do hip extension back and maximal hip extension. Bring it down to the opposite knee and then reverse it. Hip extension out, get that glute working. External rotation as I bring the leg back to where I started. And one more. Hip flexion, abduction, and then internal rotation as you do hip extension, and then back, and then reverse. Hip extension to external rotation as I bring it into flexion. Good. The better you get at C.A.R.s, at the very beginning, if you've never done it before, which is why you need to do it as a daily practice, the intensity is your lack of knowledge with your body. So the better you get at this process, the more intense internal effort that you can create without adding additional load. Okay? All the additional load is basically for jiu-jitsu. This is strength training and mobility work so that you can be stronger for jiu-jitsu. That's the heavy lifting, is jiu-jitsu. This is the work, all the work that's needed in order for you to be stronger in jiu-jitsu. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite side. So I'm going to turn around. Yep. So for me, this is my shitty side. So everybody's got a shitty side. So it's like what they teach in yoga is like, don't get caught up on one side to another. Everyone's got something. I'm better on my right arm than I am on my left arm. And I'm better on my left leg sometimes than I am on my right leg. So everybody's a little different. So let's find that end range, whatever that looks like for you. Sit here for a couple seconds. And we're going to do the pails and rails in the back, okay? So remember, just to remind you, tailbone to the ceiling, chest up, looking in that direction, hip hinging forward. If you need yoga blocks, put yoga blocks. If you need to be up in this position, whatever it is. It's better to back up a little bit and get to that 70% pain tolerance to try to go 100% and then not be able to sit in it, which is why you want to do the practice doing this and sitting in it for 2 minutes. Because if you go to 100%, you won't be able to sit in it for 2 minutes. So you got to find that sweet spot for you so that you can sit in it for 2 minutes, because then you understand where to gauge and how to make progress. All right. I had to back up a little bit. Like for me, this is a better position. Okay, let's start doing pails and rails on the back leg. So start pushing, try to push that foot into the ground and slowly rev up the amount of effort that you put into it. So 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Hold that 40%. You're gonna feel some like inner thigh stuff, a little bit of hamstring, a little bit of your calf muscles. And then you're gonna feel like inside underneath your hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now rails. You radiate the body in the center and try to lift that foot up. You see on this side, I'm not very good. 2, 1. Oh. And that was a cramp on my side. Oh, cramps are real. And sit into that new flexibility, and I already feel it cramping some more. Woo. All right, here we go. Start doing pails again. So on our trail leg, start pushing that foot down. 40%, 50% maximal effort for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails. You radiate the body and get that foot up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I cheated there too. I had to lean to the side. All right, let's see the work with the C.A.R.s. Again, tabletop, hands and wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And from here, hip flexion, abduction, internal rotation as I do that hip extension. Bring it down to the opposite leg. Obviously, you can tell I'm kind of weak on this side. I've had an injury on this side. I tore my meniscus. I had surgery on it. So this side always has to work harder than my opposite side. And repeat, flexion, abduction, internal rotation as I bring the foot around into hip extension. And then bring it down, and then reverse, hip extension up. External rotation as I bring it into flexion. Awesome. Bear with me 1 second, guys, because it's starting to get hot in here. I'm going to turn on the AC. All right. Now we're moving on to shoulders. Lay on your side. Bring your legs into 90 degrees. So your knees are in front of your hips. Comfortably lay here. You get a yoga block for your head. Put your head on the yoga block. From there, you're going to take the elbow, place it right in front of your shoulder. Put your fingers next to your elbow, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull that elbow away from your fingers and get your shoulder more underneath you. From there, you're going to take that top hand. You're going to kind of push it down. This is what's called the sleeper stretch. Obviously, because I look like I'm going to sleep. Find that end range. Again, this would normally be for 2 minutes. So homework for yourself is to practice doing this for 2 minutes, just so that you understand and get more communication and more in tune with your body. Okay? Pails is pushing up. Rails is trying to pull away from the top hand. So the amount of effort that you put from the bottom hand to the top hand, the top hand has to match it. So in other words, you're not winning, neither one is winning. But the more effort you put with the bottom hand, the top hand is going to match it. Okay? So find that end range. I gotta move around a little bit so that I can find my end range. There it is. Okay, start slowly revving up. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Hold that effort. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now rails, pull it away. Pull that hand away. Pull that hand away. Try to reach towards your belly as if you had a belt buckle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the amount of effort. Get the top hand to meet the bottom hand. Sit in the new space. Take a breath. From there, start pushing up. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Maximal effort now. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's do another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now rails. Try to pull, pull, pull. Even if you don't go anywhere, because I'm not going anywhere, I'm at my end range. Pull, pull, pull. 5, dig, dig, dig. 2 and 1. And sit into that new space. Now, you can obviously see how this is going to help you with jiu-jitsu. This is technically a C.A.R.s position. So what we're doing is we're strength training the end range of a C.A.R.s so that you have more dexterity and your body knows that it's been there before. So we're basically C.A.R.sing ourselves in a controlled setting and giving our shoulder space in order to understand that it's been there before and you're less likely to get hurt. Unwind. Sit up. We're going to do 2 shoulder C.A.R.s. So we're going to work on the same arm that we just finished doing. From here, palm facing up. A little bit of flexion, shoulder flexion, going towards the medial line. Internal rotation, reaching up behind you, radiating the spine, radiating everything else in your body. As you reach back, you keep continually internal rotation. Keep bringing it around. And then reverse. Shoulder extension, external rotation, all the way around. Bring it around, keeping everything very stiff. Radiating the rest of your arm so the arm there's no bend, there's nothing flexing or extending. And then repeat. Reverse. External rotation, bring it around, 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 bring it around. Beautiful. Whew. All right, let's do the other side. There, your side again. Elbow block for a pillow. Put your fingers right against your elbow, then pull your elbow away from your fingers and get your shoulder more underneath you. Knees at 90 degrees. From here, you're going to rotate down, get that passive stretch. And again, to remind you, homework, practice these positions, the sleeper stretch and the 90-90, and learn how to sit in those at your end range for 2 minutes, whatever that end range looks like for you. Sit here a couple seconds, find that end range. A little stiff on this side. So I'm having difficulties telling my shoulder to relax. So I'm going to kind of figure out what's going to be best for me. There it is. And that feels that's that how it hurts so good position. Okay, remember, Pails is pushing up with the bottom hand. Rails is pulling the bottom arm away from the top arm. Here we go. Start pushing up. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Hold it there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I pull away. Oh, I did a good job with the end raise because I can barely pull away. 5, 4, all the effort. Dig. Reach towards that belt buckle. 2, 1. Get the top hand to match. Relax in the new space you just created. Now repeat. Start pushing up. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Maximal effort now. Everything you got. Trying to get yourself out of a Kimura. Someone's trying to Kimura you. You're trying to effortlessly get out of it. 2, 1. Now rails. Pull away. Pull away. Pull away. Pull away. Pull away. Pull away. 2 and 1. And I'm getting a cramp. Holy smokes. And relax here. Breathe into the new space. I thought I got an extra degree there from today than compared to Saturday. Slowly get out of it. Sit up. Shoulder curl on the same arm. Palm facing up. Karate chop hand. Locked elbow. Irradiating the spine. Contracting the leg muscles. Stiffening the other arm so nothing moves except for your shoulder. Bring it in front of you. Internal rotation. Reaching back. As you reach back, you try to keep continuing with the internal rotation. Maximally internal rotation until your palm is facing away from you. And then you're going to reverse. Back. External rotation. Bringing it all the way around. Bringing it to the front. And then repeat. And reach, and keep internal rotating, and keep internal rotating. Keep internal rotating as you reach back till you have maximal internal rotation, your palms facing away from you, and then reverse. Perfect. Okay. So next is the actual movement. So now we warmed up our hips. We strength trained our hips. We strength trained our shoulders. At the joint level, now we're gonna add in some dynamic movement. This is gonna like additional saving the work. So what we did was, we did some very focused joint strength training. Then we saved the work with the C.A.R.s. So we're teaching your nervous system that is able to do it. Now we're gonna put it all together. We created some workspace. Everything is warmed up. Now we're going to do it with our own body weight so that our body understands that it's able to do these motions. So there's 3 things that we're going to do. We're going to do a mountain climber. It's called a mountain climber with a reach, a loaded plank to push-up, and then some scapular push-ups. So I'm going to go through it, and then we're going to go like a series of 3 sets. Normally you're going to do 90 seconds rest, but for this particular class, no 90 seconds. I'm just going to go when I'm ready to go. It's going to help me push myself, and hopefully push you as well. So here we go. So let me give you an example of each one. So child's pose, or turtle, if you want to call it turtle, with your toes tucked. All you're going to do is you're going to go forward, bring the leg, reach back, and back to the starting position. Opposite side. Okay? That's the mountain climber with reach. The next one is the loaded plank to push up. So same position, toes tucked, sitting back in turtle position, with your arms extended out in front of you. And then all you're going to do from here is you're going to go up to a plank, you're going to do a push-up. Then back to a plank, push-up, back. And the last one is actually the most difficult for people to get, is actually scapular push-ups. So you're doing the push-up with just your shoulder blades. So from here, you can do it. If you can't do it, with all your load on top of you. All right? So with this particular thing, go at your own pace. I'd rather have quality than quantity. So we're going to do 8 of the first one, 6 of the second one, 10 of the last one. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 1. Last one. We'll switch to the plank to push-up. One break in between if you can. 1. We're only doing 6 of these. And now scapular push-ups. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. It gets me out of breath, especially the scapular push-ups. By the time I get to the scapular push-ups, I'm kind of exhausted. That elevates your heart rate. Is extremely deceiving. Okay, here we go. Again, starting with the first one, mountain climber with reach. Hey, switch, go to plank, push up. 1. 2 more. Last one. Good, I'm gonna do the scapular push-ups on my knees. Okay, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. 2 rounds of that. Bear with me 1 second. So you understand conceptually, when you're in this position, here, what we're doing is we're stretching here and teaching this leg, this hip flexor to open or to actively contract, and this one to eccentrically contract or stretch this out. Because you're actually having to be active in this position. So what we're doing is a lot of people, it's like hip and back pain that they get from jiu-jitsu is overworked hips that are weak. Basically, all the little intricate muscles around your hips are weak and not flexible. So the more you work in a controlled setting, the stronger you're gonna feel, the less actual like hip discomfort that you're gonna feel. Okay? Now we're moving on to another set of hip openers. Okay? We're gonna get into what's called half kneeling. So, I don't know if you can see, but what you're gonna do is we're gonna maximally internally rotate. So instead of the back foot being right behind our knee, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of go about 10, 20, 30 degrees, still facing forward when you do this. So you're half kneeling, okay? From there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna activate your glutes. I don't know about activating, but basically what you're gonna do is contract your glutes. So then you're trying to open up this area right here. And you're gonna go to that end range, whatever that looks like for you. For me, that's it. It's a very small amount of degrees. We're crossing two joints here, so basically the intensity or the effort or the pain you feel is a little bit more intense here because the knee is bent and then the hip is extended. Okay? Find that end range for you. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do pails and rails here. The pails part is what you're trying to do is you're trying to drag your knee towards the opposite foot. So you're gonna activate all these muscles here. That's the pails part. The rails is firing more your glute and your hamstrings to try to increase the amount of space, but through actual effort, not your body weight. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So here we go. Stay in this position. Find that end range. I need to find it for myself. Right about there for me. Good. From here, start doing pails. So start getting this muscle here, this stuff, whatever that is, top end of your quad or your hip flexor, your psoas muscles, all your rotators here, because you're also working your internal rotation. Try to drag that knee towards that front knee, that front foot, excuse me. And for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now rails, activate that glute, get that hamstring, and try to hit more hip extension. Get that space more. Try to go forward by contracting the hamstring and the glute. Relax the tension. Sit in the new space for just a second. These are intense. All right, from here, start trying to drag that knee. Get that front stuff working. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails. Squeeze that glute. Get that hamstring helping elongate this as much as you can. Pull yourself forward by squeezing your glute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly get out of it. Super intense. Take a second there. We're gonna just do one hip car. I want you to increase the effort that you're doing into it. So before you were doing like maybe 40, 50%, I want maximal effort. When you do maximal effort on the cars, you slow the motion down because you're trying to get through those sticky points. So here we go. Reverse. Awesome. One thing I did forget to mention, you can do this up against the wall, so you can have support so you're not focused too much on your balance. The idea is to focus all your effort here and on your posterior side. So for me, I use sticks, but you can use whatever you want to use, the wall sticks. The sticks actually increase the amount of effort because I can irradiate a little bit more by contracting more of my upper body. Okay, now opposite leg forward. From there, you're going to internally rotate. Remember, you're going to go out, away from your knee about 10 to 20 to 30 degrees, depending on your range of motion. From there, you're going to find that end range, whatever that is for you. That feels good right there. Beautiful. All right, start doing pails. Remember, pails is trying to drag that back knee towards the front foot. All that hip stuff in the front is pulling you forward. As you can see, there's almost no motion that I'm having on my opposite hip. 2, 1, and rails and squeeze that butt, get that hamstring, get that more elongated. 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension, sit into the new space. Drag, go. Drag that knee. 10%, 20%, 30%. Maximal effort here. 40%, 50%, 60, 70. There you go. 8, dig. 10, 9, dig. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get that glute fire in the hamstring, all that posterior stuff to pull yourself forward. Elongate that front part of your hip. Move, move. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax everything. Sit into the new stretch. Oh. Now we're gonna do a hip curl on the side that we just finished working. And here we go. Just one, so make it count. Ah. Oh. Ooh, super hard. All right. So now we created space. We got the glute working. We got the external rotators. We opened up the hip openers. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do presses in a bridge position. So I'm using very tiny weight, just 5-pound weights. It's not really about the press. It's about the bridge. Sorry, hold on one second. Still practicing using the mic. So the bridge here is you're gonna keep your feet right underneath your knees. From there, you're gonna slowly bridge up to maximal bridging. What you wanna try to think is you try to get just the top of your head touching the floor, if you're able to do that. The more you extend, the more efficient it will be. So I'll grab the weights. Very simple. Push up. And we're just doing a chest press. So remember, the idea is not so much about the press. You're doing 10 here in each arm. The idea is to try to bridge as much as you possibly can and get all that posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings, your spine, to press upwards as high as you possibly can and focus on trying to do a back bend to the best of your ability. Exhale. Go and let it down. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do upas. Upas are basically just a bridge with a reach. So up, reach. Think that you're trying to roll over your shoulder. Posterior chain is bridging you up. You're trying to get yourself over your shoulder. Look over your shoulder. Exhale. Good. Take a little breather. And we got one more. Here we go. Jump, maximal bridging, get up on the top of your head, try to, start pressing. Awesome. Upas. Scoot down so I don't hit my wall. And reach. Roll over the shoulder. Take the opposite hand if you can. Reach for the opposite leg. One more. Awesome. The second one, I accommodate the mic. Done with that. Bear with me 1 second. Having some technical difficulties here. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the decompression. So, four movements. First ones we're going to do is elbow circles, elbow pin circles, needle arm, and kneeling spinal waves. So the first one is, we're going to do it in front of the camera, facing the camera. You're basically just doing closed chain elbow CARs. Next one, palm facing up, fisting the elbow or fisting the opposite palm, and you're just rotating shoulder internal, external rotation. Next one is needle arm. Bending up, reaching across, reaching across, reaching across. Everybody usually has done that. And there's the spinal wave on your knees. These are very slow. So what we're doing is we're doing a dynamic cat-cow, basically. So from here, you're going to spinal crunch, flexion, maximal flexion, rolling here, and then going into extension, and then going back to center. And then repeating. Okay, so we're just doing one set of these. It's very easy. I'm actually tired. Here we go. One. We're going in each direction. Two. So 6 in one direction, 6 in another. 4. What I do is I try to spread my fingers as much as I can. Wow, you see I'm deviating, I'm not even paying attention that I'm doing that. 5. And 6, opposite direction, outwards. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Wrist pin. Here. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next one is my favorite, which is the needle arm. Obviously, this is for forward rolls, inversion drills. It just feels good, especially if you're a big guy like me. Any of this stuff that we do, like this, always feels good. Because we hold a lot of tension because of our size. Reach. Beautiful. Last one is the spinal waves. These you want to do as slow as possible. What we're trying to do is integrate as much information into our spine. So really it's not so much about the actual plank, it's about the motion from one position to the other using our spine. So take everything in the front, the anterior side, is pulling you forward and then you're relaxing it. And then everything on the posterior side is helping you come up into extension. We'll go back. Again, 3 more. You're only doing 4 of these. Nice and slow. Exaggerate the flexion. One more. Awesome. All right. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to finish with breathing again. This time we're going to do maximal expansive breath. So for me, I work on positional stuff because I've been working on inverting. And for me, when I first started to try to invert, it wasn't just a lack of flexibility of my hamstrings. It was a lack of strength of my hip flexors, a lack of strength of my spine to be able to contract. Then from there, it was breathing. It's very difficult to breathe when someone is literally pressing, a 200-pound person is pressing your leg next to your head, and you still need to be able to have enough tension there while you're breathing. So what I do is I sit in a full squat, because this right here mimics as close as you can to retaining guard. This is kind of where you want to be at. Imagine me on my back. You want to be in this position all the time. So if I learn to breathe in that position, when I'm on my back, it's an easy position to be in. So let me review exactly again what we're doing. So we're doing breath in, exaggerated breath, or maximal expansive breath out. Then at that last potential energy, we're going to ride the wave. So let me give you an example. So diaphragm down, breath in, breath out, all the way out, pull the belly button in, pull the belly button in, pull the belly button in, and then you reflexive out, and the breath starts for you. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up where the breath ends automatically. So as soon as you let go of that belly button, you automatically start breathing, then you're going to pick it up. And then again, relax and pick it up. Okay? Again, just keep going. In, out, in, out. Try to create like a little bit of a circle. So you're going in, out, in, out, in, out. Once you start creating that rhythm and you catch that potential energy, you're going to see that it literally feels like a circle when you're doing it. Okay? So again, don't stop. Just do it. Keep doing it. You're going to feel a little lightheaded because we've already worked out a little bit. When we do that maximal expansive breath, it's normal. You're not going to die. You're going to live through it. So just toughen up a little bit. Sit through it. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Okay? Here we go. So get in the position, whatever position you want to be in. If you can do this position where you can sit in your squat, great. If not, just sit on your knees. Sit Indian style, whatever is easiest for you. So here we go. And one more. Close your eyes. Take a second. Enjoy what you just finished doing. Feel your body a little bit. Swim in the ecstasy of all the oxygen in your blood. This is better than coffee in the morning, even though I love my coffee. Who's guys? Thanks for tuning in. Can't tell you how much I appreciate this for you watching. Please give me feedback. I'm still learning myself, so just keep in mind, I'm here to help. So anything that, if you have any types of aches or pains or anything that's jiu-jitsu related that I can help you with, please, reach out to me. I'm always on social media, so it doesn't matter which way you're. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, I try to kind of give you guys as much information as I possibly can about jiu-jitsu and how to take care of your body for jiu-jitsu. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you Thursday. Remember, Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30 in the morning, Sunday at 6 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30 in the morning, Sunday at 6 p.m. Who's guys?